Hello, my name is Andy Fleishman. One of my 3 lines of concrete tiles sold at Ann Sachs is unusual because of the grout-filled surface design. This video shows how to grout the tiles. On the screen is a photo showing the tiles after they are installed and finished. I want to thank Joe Bethauser, a widely experienced contractor, for demonstrating his methods on this video. He strongly recommends using the sharp-cornered cellulose sponge shown, Craft PL 370. Joe lays the tiles out dry first, and when he installs them, he uses spacers on all corners. Sealing prior to grouting is covered in the instructions that are included in each box of tiles. Keep in mind that the tiles are porous before sealing, and great care should be taken to keep them clean. Spread the Spectralock grout, pulling it in different directions over the whole surface to fill the design, while at the same time working it deep into the grout lines as you would normally do. As you remove the grout with the edge of the trowel, make sure the pattern is filled. Looking from different directions helps see if the design is filled completely. On larger floors, there should be different workers doing different jobs, mixing grout as needed, spreading the grout, cleaning the surface, etc. The person following with the sponge can work from 1/4-inch masonite placed on the tile surface. He is moving the grout around, filling the design from different directions. While the grout is workable, it is always possible to place more grout into any area that needs it, so looking at the surface often is important. Until the floor is fully dried and the grout is cured, the beauty of your work will not be fully apparent. If you use midnight black grout, as in this demonstration, the color will be gray until it begins to cure. The change is even more dramatic when using some of my other designs, such as Variations, Eden, or Trillium. Cleaning off the grout with the sponge is a critical part that takes patience and care. Cleaning can be started very soon after the grout is spread. The sponge should be rinsed in water and wrung out often, but enough water should be left in to carry off the epoxy. If the sponge is too dry, it can pull out the grout in the design. Keep the sponge flat with little downward pressure, depending on how thick the grout is where you are working. At this beginning stage, keep wiping in different directions and circles to remove most of the sandy grout above the concrete surface. Fill in any area that needs more grout. To some extent, spreading with the sponge evens out and fills in, but again, you have to always watch to see if any grout is missing from an earlier step, while it can still be easily fixed. Removing the grout shown on the center left of the screen is a good example of having patience not to rush, working in a way that will leave the design looking full and sharp. After most of the sandy grout is removed from the surface, it is time to clean any epoxy off the concrete. You should use the sponge less aggressively as the work progresses. Use the sponge flat without any downward pressure, pushing it along the surface using a very light touch. Once the surface grout is removed, you should start moving the sponge in long straight lines overlapping approximately 50% over the last stroke. Use one side of the sponge for one wipe and then the other side for a second wipe. Then rinse well and repeat, leaving enough water to do the job cleanly without disrupting the grout that is already in place. Take it slow, always looking carefully. After wiping in one area in one direction, wipe again in a different direction. Repeat until the surface is clean. Leaving epoxy film sitting on the surface to harden should be avoided at all costs. After you are done washing it, do it one more time. Look at the overall project for any reflection that does not look right. All the resin needs to be off the concrete surface and can be hard to see when the concrete is wet. There is a small dip in the grout line shown on the right side of the screen. Even now, it can easily be invisibly fixed and smoothed out in the local area. As the floor starts to dry, get fresh clean water for removing what is left on the surface. Joe likes to use warm water for this. Use the lightest touch. Again, go in different directions, always cleaning the sponge. There are some parallel dark lines on the center tile in the lower left area that the clean water will remove. The floor can be left damp, but no small puddles that can leave a white small circle when dry. After 2 hours, the concrete was dry and that allowed a better inspection of the surface. There were a couple of areas that still had a little resin on it. Joe mixed the packet of Final Wash that comes packed with the Spectralac grout and lightly and gently went over the floor again. This should not be overdone. It easily and quickly removed the resin. When fully cured and dry, one coat of 511 Porous Plus will increase protection and friction and will not change how the floor looks. These tiles rely on the experience, skill, and pride that creative tile contractors and their crews bring to each project. For the 14 years that they have been sold at Ann Sachs, I have always been grateful for all the high-quality work put into installing them.